Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Welcome to Congregation Dor Tamid and our Kabbalat Shabbat Friday evening service online. We are glad you are joining us, whether on Zoom here or on Facebook or on YouTube or on our website. Whatever your method of joining us for this Kabbalat Shabbat is, welcome. It is great to see all of you as we come together again for this Shabbat of Parshat Yitro, the Shabbat of Revelation, where we read in the Torah of God giving the Torah itself, the Ten Commandments, and the rest of the Torah to Moses and the people of Israel. We've come together tonight for a variety of reasons, as we do each week. Some are here because we are saying a Misha Berach, a prayer of healing for a family member, a friend, a loved one, those in your broader circles. Some are here because you are saying Kaddish this week, either for someone who has recently passed or you have a yahrzeit that you are marking on this Shabbat. And many of us are here because it's Friday night, and that's what we do. We come together as a community each week to take a step back, to be even virtually with one another as we welcome in this moment, this time that we are given as a gift by our Creator each and every week as the sun sets on Friday night. Having just come from a virtual Shabbat dinner with our 6th and 7th graders, along with Mike and our education director, Molly, it has just been a joy already between that and our Tat Shabbat tonight to welcome in this Sabbath. And it's even more of a joy now that we are all here together. So we sing the words to begin our service that come from the Psalms, words that say how beautiful it is when all of us, brothers and sisters, spread across the distance, can still be together in this virtual platform as brothers and sisters.
Tovu manayim shevarachim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim shevarachim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim shevarachim gam yachad. Ma tovu manayim shevarachim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim shevarachim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim shevarachim gam yachad.
Do each and every week, we add more light into creation as we kindle our Sabbath lights. Please join me in lighting your candles as we light them together here at the synagogue.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
With wine, with grape juice, with the fruit of the vine, our symbol of joy, we raise our cups to sanctify this day.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzamanu Shabbat kodsho be'ava u'b'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron le'maaseh bereshit tilu yom techila le'mikra'ei kodesh zecher letziat Mitzrayim kiranu v'acharta v'yotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ava u'b'ratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mikadesh HaShabbat Amen.
Chaim. We turn now to our service of Kabbalat Shabbat, our service of welcoming this day of Shabbat by singing this song that says it's a new song to God. And though the words don't change, the melody is the same week to week. We are new. We are renewed each week, and we are in a different and new place. So the song truly that we give praise to God is a new song. We join together.
Shiru Adonai kol haaretz Shiru Adonai shir chadash Shiru Adonai kol haaretz Shiru Adonai shir chadash Sing unto God all the earth a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God and we'll all sing along. All the earth a new song unto God. Shiru Adonai kol haaretz Shiru Adonai Shir Chadash.
As the mystics did in Sfat, we turn now to the words of the Chadodi, words that welcome in this day of Shabbat as a bride, as the beloved of the Israelite people, of the children of Israel. We welcome in this day as one that we have longed for all week. And if you are willing, if you are able, I invite you for the final verse to rise in either body or in spirit for the greeting of the Kala of the beloved of Shabbat.
Ya la 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 lechadodi Ya la 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 lekrat kala Ya la 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 penei Shabbat nekabela Shamor v'zachor v'ribor echad Yishmianu elam yuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad L'shem ultiferet B'litilai Yalalai Yalalalai l'chadodi Yalalalai l'kakala Yalalala, B'nai Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lecho v'nelcha ki hi mikor habracha merosh mikedem nesucha sof maaseh b'mashava tehillah. Yalalai, yalalai, lekadodi, yalalai, lekakala, yalalai, b'nai Shabbat nekabela. Igoreri, kiva oreh, uri, shedaberi, kivod Adonai, alayek nigla. Yalalai, yalalai, lekadodi, yalalai, lekakala, yalalai, b'nai Shabbat nekabela. Boi b'shalom, ateret bala. Besimcha tola Tochem munei am segula Boi kala Yalalai, yalalai, lekadodi, yalalai, lekakala, yalalai, b'nai Shabbat nekabela.
Now that we have welcomed in the Sabbath bride, now we've welcomed in this day of Shabbat, we transition into Mariv, our evening service with the Shema and its blessings, by praising God's name with the words of the Chatzi Kaddish.
Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba v'yalmad yivrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon u'yomechon uv'chayei techol beit Yisrael Bagala, uvizman kariv, v'yimeru, amen. Yehi shemei Rabba mevorach, le'alam alal me'al maya, yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitpar, v'yitromam, v'yitnaseh, Ve'yitadar, v'yitale, v'yitalal, shemei de kudisha berichu, le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, na'amiran be'alma, v'yimeru, amen. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? la lai lai lai, la lai lai lai. Am I awake? Am I prepared?
This is an hour of change. Within it, we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it, we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on the evening.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha v'hayu ha'devarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam B'shivtecha, b'veitecha, u'vlechtecha, v'aderech, u'v'shochvecha, u'v'kumecha, u'kshartam leot al yadecha, v'ayu letotafot b'neinecha, u'ktavtam al mezuzot beitecha, u'v'yisharecha, lima'an tizkiru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai, V'yitem kedoshim le'Elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Adonai Elohechem emet.
Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot osef ele, nora tehilot osef ele. Malechutecha ra'ov anecha, Bokeyam lifnei Moshe Zeilianu ve'amru Adonai imloch Adonai imloch leolam
We turn now to the Hashkivenu, words that ask God to watch over us as we lie down tonight, and to spread over us, over our friends, our family, our broader circles, and all we love, and truly over all of creation, a Sukkat Shalom, a shelter of God's peace.
Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'shalom, L'shalom. Hamidenu Shomreinu L'chaim. Ufros Aleinu Sukat Shlomecha, Ufros Aleinu Sukat Shlomecha. Amen. Shelter us beneath your wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. Amen. Amen.
We turn now to words of Torah that remind us as we sing them each week that guarding Shabbat, keeping Shabbat, marking this day as special among the days will renew us, renew our souls, and keep us through the generations.
Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat Lasot et HaShabbat Ledorotam berit olam. Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat Lasot et HaShabbat Ledorotam berit olam. Meni u'men b'nei Yisrael B'nei Yisrael Oti le'olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat Ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz ve'shamru b'nei Yisrael et hashabbat la'asot et hashabbat ledorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi Shabbat vayinafash Shabbat vayinafash Shabbat vayinafash Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat Ledorotam berit olam.
We rise now in body or in spirit for the tefillah, the central prayer section of our service, where we truly open our lips and open our souls to the kol dama daka, that still small voice, and the presence of God in the universe.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ופיה תהילתך. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Oseh shalom, shalom bimromav, uyaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'yimeru amen. Uyaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Amen. Oseh shalom, shalom bimromav, uyaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'yimeru amen. Ve'al kol Yisrael,
Torah portion for this Shabbat is Parshat Yitro. It comes to us from the middle of the book of Exodus, and it is famous not only for the first part of the Parsha, in which we get its name, which discusses Moses' interactions with his father-in-law Jethro, Yitro, and Yitro explaining to Moses the beneficial attributes of delegation, that Moses, the leader, can't do it all himself, and he needs to find people to help him. But no, the famous part, the sort of par excellence, the grand part of this Torah portion that people know is this week, is the reading of Aseret HaDibrot, the 10 Commandments, the 10 utterances that God will give to us along with the rest of the Torah on Mount Sinai. I told a story to our young people in Tat Shabbat tonight of God coming to all the nations of the world, a midrash that is written of God trying to give the Torah to all of the nations of the world. And each one asks, what is in your Torah? And at each instance, God gives a commandment, and the nation says, nope, that's not for us. Can't kill, we like killing. Can't steal, we like stealing, and so on and so forth. Until God came to the people of Israel and said, will you take my Torah? Will you accept these laws and this gift I am giving to you? And Israel didn't ask what was in it. Israel didn't put a condition on it. Israel said, Na'aseh v'nishma. We will do and we will hear. Not we will hear and then we will do, rather we will do what we hear. What you tell us to do, God, we've already agreed to. And so Israel took the Torah, accepted the Torah lovingly into their arms, just as we do each week when we take our Sefer Torah from the Ark. We put it lovingly in our arms to cradle it, to cherish it, but not just the scroll itself, but the words within. Our Midrash, our rabbis also taught that every Jew, every one of us who has lived, who is living, who will ever live, was present at that moment of Mount Sinai to say Na'aseh v'nishma, to hear the Torah being given. We are taught that when God was about to give the Torah, the world was silent. No bird chirped, no ox bellowed, no angel fluttered its wings. There was pure silence until God's holy voice rang out saying, Anochi Adonai Elohecha, I am the Lord your God. And as we read these words tonight, we hear these words of Torah, that we will open up the scroll and read these sacred and holy words, which coincidentally are both Mike and mine bar mitzvah portions, so it is extra special to both of us. We read these words and we see the words on the page of Torah that say, Anochi Adonai Elohecha, I am the Lord your God. Written in what we are told is that black fire of Torah, that black fire of the ink that is supposed to enlighten our hearts and enlighten our souls. But it's also important as we hear these words and we look at these words, and we will have an opportunity to do both tonight, is to see not only the black fire on the page, but the white fire, the spaces between the words that give it depth, that give it meaning, that allow us to internalize it, inherit it. And just as Moses did, take it from God and pass it to Joshua, allow us to pass it to the next generation. I invite you now to rise in body or in spirit as we open the Ark to take out our Sefer Torah. For Seder Kriyat HaTorah, we rise.
In kamocha v'Elohim Adonai, ben k'ma'asecha, malchutecha, malchut kol olamim u'memshaltecha b'chol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai oz le'amo yitin, Adonai varech et amo v'shalom, av harachamim etiva b'rtzoncha et Zion, nimne chamot Yerushalayim, tivne chamot Yerushalayim, ki veha levad batachnu, melech el ram v'nisad on olamim. Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, ki mitzion tetzei Torah, u'devar Adonai mirushalayim. Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, le'amo Yisrael, b'kedushato, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Gadol Shemo, Gadol Adonai Tiromema Shemo Yaktav, Lecha Adonai Agidula V'Agivura V'Atiferet V'Anetzach V'Ahon, Ki kol bashamayim uvaretz, Ki kol bashamayim uvaretz, Lecha Adonai hamamlacha, V'amik naseh lechol.
is the tradition that when we read these words of the 10 Commandments, the 10 utterances, Aseret HaDibrot, for us to rise upon hearing them. And I will put the words up on the screen in just a moment. As Mike, if you could bless our reading of the Torah before you read its holy words.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Havarach
Leolam Vaed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Vaydaber Elohim et kol advarim ha'ele lemor. Anochi Adonai Elohecha asher hotzeticha me'eretz Mitzrayim mibeit avadim lo yeh lecha Elohim acherim al panai lo ta'aseh lecha fesel v'chol temunah asher bashamayim imal Vasher ba'aretz mitachat Vasher b'mayim mitachat la'aretz Lo tishtachaveh lahem Velo ta'ovdem Ki anochi Adonai Elohecha Elkanah Poked avon avot al banim al shileshim ve'al rebeim l'sonai ve'oseh chesed lahalafim le'ohavai u'shomrei mitzvotai lo tisa et shem Adonai Elohecha lashav ki lo yinakeh Adonai et Asher Yisa et Shemo Lashav Zachor et Yom HaShabbat Lekadsho Sheshet Yamim Tavod Ve'asita Cho Melachtecha Uvayom HaShvi'i Shabbat Ladonai Elohecha Lo Ta'aseh melacha Ata uvincha uvitecha Vavdecha v'amatecha uvhemtecha V'gercha asher bisharecha Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai Et hashamayim v'et haaretz Et hayam v'et kol asher bam Vayanach bayom hashvi'i Al ken berach Adonai Et yom hashabbat Vaykadshehu Kabed et avicha v'et imecha Leman yarichun yamecha Al adama Asher Adonai Elohecha noten lach Lo tirtzach, lo tin'af, lo tignov, lo ta'aneh v'reacha ed shaker, lo tachmod beit re'echa, lo tachmod eshet re'echa, ve'avdo, ve'amato, ve'shoro, ve'chamoro, ve'chol, Asher l'reyecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet b'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. With our hearts opened by words of Torah, we take a moment and think of members of our community who are ill, people who are in the hospital, at home, recovering, some who have diseases and illnesses from which they may never recover. We think of all of them, those in our immediate and broader circles, as well as the thousands and thousands who are currently battling COVID-19, as we sing together these words of blessing.
Mi shebeirach avotenu mekor habracha lehimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishebeirach imotenu mekor habracha le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We rise to dress the Torah and prepare to return it to the ark.
V'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai biad Moshe.
Yahalelu et Shem Adonai, ki niskav shemo levado. Let us praise the name of Adonai, for God's name alone is exalted.
Odo al eretz v'shamayim Vayarem keren li'amo Tehila lechol asidav Libnei Yisrael am kerovo. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Et chayim hi lamachazikim ba v'tomcheha meushar derachecha darchenu am b'chol netivoteha shalom hashivenu Adonai elecha b'nashuva Chadesh Chadesh Yameinu Chadesh Yameinu Kekedem.
And remain standing for Aleinu.
Aleinu shabeach ladon hakol atet gerula leotzeh breshit shehu noteh shamayim ve'yosed haaretz umoshav yikaro b'shamayim mima'al ushchinatu zo begovei meromim hu Eloheinu enor אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
The light of life is a finite flame. Like the Shabbat candles, life is kindled. It burns, it glows, it is radiant with warmth and beauty. But soon it fades, its substance is consumed, and it is no more. In light we see, in light we are seen. The flames dance and our life burns down and gutters. There is an end to the flames. We see no more and are no more seen. Yet we do not despair, for we are more than a memory slowly fading into the darkness. With our lives we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness and death, of light and life. Our thoughts now turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. At this sacred moment of our Shabbat evening worship, we think longingly and lovingly of those taken from us both recently and at this season in years past. We are in a period of Shloshim, the first 30 days since their passing, of Rabbi Michael Cain and Frank Mandel. We mark the Artzites, the anniversary of their passing on this Shabbat, of Blanche Shumsky, Beulah Falk, Herbert Friedman, Abraham Cohen, Sadie Ostro, Iris Slavin, Morris Prince, Carolyn Tony Rothschild, Eddie Goldberg, Herman Wolf, Steve L. Jones, Hilda Z. Harvey, Louis Ostro, Sally Galler, Hector Gonzalez, George R. Winton, Jackson Stewart Lawrence, and Margaret Carpenter. If you are remembering someone on this Shabbat, I invite you to speak their name out loud wherever you are, thus linking their name and their memory to all of those we have already listed, the millions of our people who have no one to say Kaddish for them, and the thousands and thousands who have died as a result of the pandemic, as we link all of their names and memories to the Shemei Rabbah, the great, holy, and awesome name of God that we praise together with words lifting up the words of the mourner's Kaddish. We rise as one community in body or in spirit as we speak these sacred words. Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah, v'yalmad yivrach cherutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, v'agala v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah mevorach le'olam l'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmeid kudsha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechamata. Da'amiran v'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Huya aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, and comfort to all the bereaved here and everywhere with the blessing of peace, as together wherever we are, we say, Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav, huyaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru amen.
Shabbos, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. It is great being with all of you tonight, whether on Zoom, on Facebook, on YouTube, or on our website, all of the ways that we are coming together this evening to welcome in Shabbat. Before we conclude our service with a closing song and benediction, we will just have a few brief announcements of things coming up, both in the coming week and over the next month and a half here at CDT, in person and also virtually. Tomorrow morning, we will continue celebrating Shabbat at 9:15 with story time and then Shabbat morning services at 10 o'clock, both of which will be on Facebook. And then I invite you to join with me at 7:30 tomorrow night for Havdalah as we say farewell to Shabbat for another week. All of that tomorrow can be found on CDT's Facebook page. On Sunday morning, our religious school is back in session. And on Monday, our Hebrew class, our adult Hebrew class, will meet at 10 a.m. with Molly. On Tuesday, our knitting and crochet group meets at 1 o'clock on Zoom, and Mike will be back for a little bit of Mike music on Facebook on Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. On Wednesday at 11 a.m., I invite you to join me as we continue wrapping up. I know we've been saying that for a number of weeks, but continue wrapping up our study of the book of Numbers. It is always a great conversation, and so I invite you to join us each week as we study Torah. This week, our prime timers will be meeting on Thursday at 10 a.m. For coffee, I invite you. It's always lovely to see everyone for a great conversation. And then next Friday night, we'll be back for Kabbalat Shabbat at 7:30 for Shabbat services right here on Zoom, Facebook, and on our website. Coming up in the next couple of weeks, on February 25th, it's Purim. So I hope you'll all join us on Facebook and streaming on our website for our celebration of Purim, our Megillah reading, and live from CDT. It will be Shushan Night Live. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I hope you will join us for that celebration in just a few weeks. And then on February 28th, in lieu of an in-person Purim Carnival this year, we are going to be joined by a very special guest for our annual Purim party, Shir Lala, or Shira Klein, who is a phenomenal singer and songwriter and storyteller and performer and musician. Mike's nodding along in agreement.
She's got
coming
so
to
much
us.
energy. Oh my goodness, you guys, your socks are literally going to be blown off. I've seen her several times. She's amazing, and she's a great teacher too.
So we'll be joined by Shira on February 28th at 4:30 p.m. on Zoom. We're also going to be having, as part of that, a costume contest with prizes for adults, kids, and family ensemble costumes. So make sure to dress up and join us on both of those Purim celebrations coming up near the end of February. Then looking ahead to March, we've got 3 very special weekends in a row. On March 7th, we'll be joined by Cantor Evan Kent coming to us from Jerusalem for a fantastic program entitled Shards, Putting the Pieces Together, telling the story of his grandparents' journey to this country, as well as his own aliyah and how they are juxtaposed together, told through story, song, and even a little puppetry. Cantor Kent is sure to provide a very interesting and illuminating session for us that Sunday morning of March 7th. The following weekend, we will be back in person and outdoors on March 13th for Havdalah, followed by a musical performance. Is that the right word, Mike?
I mean, it's going to be musical, and it will be a performance.
Sure.
It's not the most delectable description, but we'll go with that.
We'll come up with a better description as we get closer, but special guests Mike and Amy Zussman will be singing with us on Saturday, March 13th, out on the patio at CDT. So RSVP early as soon as the information comes out and join us outside in March. And then the following weekend on March 19th and 21st, we will be joined by my rabbi, my hometown rabbi, my childhood rabbi, Rabbi Norman M. Cohen, who will join us for a weekend of study and scholarship discussing the intersection of Judaism and Christianity as we approach the spring holidays of Passover and Easter. All 3 of those should be a great 3 weekends, so I hope you'll join us for all of them. And then just after that, keep an eye out for Passover information because it's coming up soon. So we have lots of stuff coming up here, both virtually and in person over the next number of months at CDT. I hope to see you all in both ways, online and also here outside once we are back outside and it gets a little warmer out for our upcoming events, programs, classes, and services. Keep an eye out on your Facebook page, email, the newsletter for all the information for all of these upcoming programs and events. We're going to conclude our service tonight by singing together Adon Olam. Join us.
And everybody and Rabbi, if it's okay, I thought I'd do a new to us, but oldie but goodie. Okay, so I think you'll get it, and if not, you can just clap to it. It's a little bit more rocking than normal. So here we go.
Let's do it.
Adon olam asher malach beterem ko yitzir nivra liyet nasa bechetzoko azay melech shemo nikra. Try it again. Adon olam asher malach beterem ko yitzir nivra liyet nasa bechetzoko azay melech shemo nikra. V'acharei kiklot hakol לבעדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה בתפארה והוא יהיה בתפארה אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם פה יציר נברא עת נעשה בחצקו אזי מלך שמו נקרא והוא אחד ואין שני להמשילו להכבירה בלי ראשית בלי תכלית ולא העוד ולא העוד ולא העוד והמצרה אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם בו יציר נברא לעת נעשה בחצקו אזי מלך שמו נקרא ובהו אלי וחגו עלי בתוכם לי בעת צרה והוא ניסי ומנוס לי מנת כוסי ביום אקרא מנת כוסי ביום אקרא אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא עת נעשה בחצקו אזי מלך שמו נקרא בידו הפקיד רוחי ויהי נשען ויעירה ועם רוחי גביעתי אדוני לי אדוני לי אדוני לי ולא ירם אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא ועת נעשה בחצקו אזי מלך שמו נקרא ועת נעשה בחצקו אזי מלך שמו נקרא.
We ask for God's blessing. Adonai oz le'amo yitain, Adonai yivarech et amo v'yekol b'nei adam b'shalom. May God give strength to God's people. And may God bless all of us, all of Israel and all creation with the blessing of peace. As together, wherever we are, we say, Amen.
Amen.
And Shabbat Shalom.